Hey Ottawa, this is Annalee Rice with Royal LePage Performance Realty in Ottawa, Ontario, and this is your Monday market snapshot for Monday, May 29th, 2023. We're just a couple days away from the end of the month, and I will update either midweek or at the end of the week with the full stats and trends of everything that's going on this last month and how we're changing month to month. But for now, let's look at this last week. First off, citywide stats. We do have a rebound in the number of active listings, as was expected following the long weekend. That's up by 29 this month, or sorry, this week. And most notably, it was all in the detached and townhome markets. The number of condominiums actually dropped this week compared to last. For sales this week, we had quite a significant drop. It was down by 76 sales this week, and that is largely due to the fact that there were fewer new listings last week and then also fewer conditional sales last week because of the long weekend and during the long weekend. So that translates into fewer firm sales this week. So this is the graphic form of that. We've got the number of active listings in green ticking up a little bit. It's not a huge jump, but it's our higher one for the last few weeks. The number of conditional sales jumped back up a little bit, back up to what it was the last few weeks, and then the number of sales dropped this week. This chart shows us the number of new listings. It's up from last week, but not a whole lot. It's not up as much as it was a couple weeks ago. The ratios of actual new listings to the properties being relisted also shifted slightly. We had 438 properties that were listed for sale this past week, and 84% of them, or 367, were new to the market. That's a higher percentage than what we've seen the last while. And then 16% of them, or 71, were relisted properties. Sales this week dropped fairly significantly, and that's firm sales, as I expected with the long weekend, and I'll expect it to rebound somewhat close to what we saw the last few weeks in the week to come. We're seeing a slight uptick in homes selling without any conditions this week. It was 30% with no conditions at all and 70% with conditions. It's a little bit up from last week, but lower than what we saw 2 weeks ago. Of the properties that sold this week, 29% were on the market for 7 or fewer days, and 74% of the homes that sold this week were on for 30 days or less. Of the homes that sold within the seven days of being listed, 65% of them sold with no conditions, and that's definitely up from what we've seen. Just a few weeks ago, we were at 50-50. And that's 10% jump over just what we saw last week. It's a sign that the buyers are facing more competition during their offer process. Okay, let's zoom into the different areas of the city, starting off with the central urban region, where we see the huge drop in the number of condominiums that were listed for sale, and we also see a drop in the number of properties sold across property types, but most notably in the condos. In Canada and Stittsville, we see slight increases in the properties listed for sale, most notably in the townhome market. And for properties being sold in Canada and Stittsville, we had a drop in all the property types, and again, most notably in the townhome market. For Barrhaven and Riverside South, we see the slight increase in all property types being listed for sale this week, and we see steady sales numbers for the detached homes and a decrease for townhomes and condos. And of note, you can see that only one condominium sold this last week in Barrhaven, which is kind of surprising. And in Orleans, we actually have numbers that don't really match the rest of the city. We see a drop in the number of detached and condos listed for sale and a slight increase in only just the townhomes. For the properties that sold this last week, they actually had increase in sales for detached and steady for condos and just a slight decrease in townhomes. So Orleans was a bit of the outlier for this week. Okay, so here are the charts that give the detailed information and stats for detached homes across the city. And here are our stats for the townhomes across the city. We do have the same as last week. We start seeing that the average sale price is pretty consistent across the city this week, again, for the townhomes. And here finally we have the condominiums detailed information. Okay, so if you find these updates informative or interesting at all, then please follow along on my YouTube channel, Your Ottawa Realtor, and click subscribe. You won't want to miss. I'm going to do an update probably midweek, but maybe near the end of the week when I get the full stats for the month end. And I'll include all of the charts to show the months of inventory, the details month to month, how are the trends happening. I hope you have a great week and enjoy the nice summery weather.